Good morning, friends. Myself, Professor Balvinder Singh. I am working in Shri Baba Masnath Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, Baba Masnath University, Astalbhor, Rohtak, Haryana. Today, I will give presentation on anti-tubercular drugs pharmacology. Anti-tubercular drugs pharmacology, in that the first of all we shall discuss the cause of tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculi or tuberculosis. The symptoms of tuberculosis is that if patient cough persists for more than 3 weeks, in that cough blood may or may not be there in the sputum that comes out when a patient coughs, then chances of getting tuberculosis is very much there. So the disease should be diagnosed by various tests like sputum test, chest x-ray or Mount2 test. Now this sputum test should be done 3 consecutive times to confirm. Coming to the classification of anti-tubercular drugs, they are classified in 2 lines drug, first line drugs and second line drugs. In the first line drugs we have isoniazid, rifampin or rifampicin, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, streptomycin. In second line drugs we have the ethionamide, prothionamide, cycloserine, teridodone, para-aminosalicylic acid, rifabutin. And newer antibiotics like fluoroquinolones, like ofloxacin, levofloxacin, moxifloxacin, ciprofloxacin, and the injectable drugs like kanamycin, amikacin, and capreomycin. There is an alternate classification of anti-tubercular drugs. In that alternative classification, the antibacterial drugs are classified in 5 groups. Group first is first line oral drugs. Isoniazid, rifampin, pyrazinamide and ethambutol is there in first group. In second group we have the injectable drugs like streptomycin, kanamycin, amikacin and capreomycin. In the third group we have the fluoroquinolones like ofloxacin, levofloxacin, moxifloxacin and ciprofloxacin. In the fourth group we have the second line oral drugs like ethionamide, prothionamide, cycloserine, teridodone, para-aminosalicylic acid, rifabutin. And fifth group is drugs with unclear efficacy like clarithromycin, clofazimine, coamoxiclav, imipenem. The first drug is isoniazid, that is isonicotinic acid hydrazide. The mechanism of action of this drug is it inhibits the mycolic acid of mycobacterial cell wall. It acts on the INHA and KASA genes, which plays important role in mycolic acid synthesis. Its metabolite also add with NAD and NADP and interfere with DNA synthesis of bacterial cell. Important, it should always be given in combination and never alone. Regarding pharmacokinetics of isoniazid, absorption is orally well absorbed, widely distributed all over the body, placenta and cerebrospinal fluid, metabolized in liver by acetylation and excreted mainly in urine. Adverse effect of isoniazid is peripheral neuritis, which can be corrected by simultaneous administration of pyridoxine, a vitamin B complex. Other adverse effects are hepatitis, lethargy, anemia and rashes. Second drug is rifampin or rifampicin. Rifampin is rifamycin B's semisynthetic derivative. Mechanism of action, rifampicin inhibits the mycobacterial DNA dependent RNA polymerase and hence stops RNA synthesis of bacterial cell. Important, it should always be given in combination and never alone. Regarding pharmacokinetics of rifampin, absorption is orally well absorbed, food interferes with absorption, it is widely distributed all over the body, placenta. The drug is metabolized in liver to desacetylated metabolite. Rifampin is excreted mainly in bile and rest small quantity in urine. Adverse effects of rifampicin, hepatitis, jaundice, skin rashes, and the color of the urine changes to orange red, but it is harmless. Coming to the third drug, pyrazinamide. The drug is similar to isoniazid. This pyrazinamide is very effective drug during the first 2 months of treatment of tuberculosis. It acts on the PNCA gene. Its metabolite, pyrazinoic acid also inhibits the mycolic acid of mycobacterial cell wall. Important, again same point to be considered. It should always be given in combination with other first line drug and never alone. Regarding the pharmacokinetics of pyrazinamide, the drug is orally well absorbed. It is widely distributed all over the body and crosses the cerebrospinal fluid. It is metabolized in liver and excreted mainly in urine. Adverse effect: pyrazinamide cause hepatotoxicity, hyperuricemia and skin rashes. Fourth drug is ethambutol. It is tuberculostatic. It is used as a replacement of paraaminosalicylic acid. Mechanism of action: it acts on the AMP-AB gene and inhibit arabinosyl transferase enzyme. This enzyme helps in formation of arabinogalactan and hence stops addition of mycolic acid in mycobacterial cell wall. Important, it should always be given in combination and never alone. Regarding pharmacokinetics of ethambutol, orally the drug is well absorbed. Ethambutol is widely distributed all over the body and crosses the cerebrospinal fluid. It is metabolized in liver and excreted mainly in urine as well as feces. Adverse effect is loss of color vision and skin rashes. Now fifth drug is streptomycin. The drug is tuberculocidal drug. It's basically aminoglycoside. So the mechanism of action is similar. It acts on first step of chain elongation of protein synthesis in ribosomes. It acts by stopping polysome formation and cause misreading of messenger RNA code. Important, it should always be given in combination and never alone. Pharmacokinetics of streptomycin: absorption is orally poorly absorbed, so it must be given by parenteral route or intramuscular route. The drug is widely distributed all over the body except cerebrospinal fluid. The drug is partly metabolized in liver and excreted mainly in urine. Adverse effects are ototoxicity, nephrotoxicity. Now coming to the second line drugs, which in that category we have the other oral drugs like ethionamide, prothionamide, cycloserine, tariridone, paraaminosalicylic acid, rifabutin, newer fluoroquinolones like ofloxacin, levofloxacin, moxifloxacin, ciprofloxacin, and injectable drugs like kanamycin, amikacin, and capreomycin. These drugs have low anti-tubercular efficacy. Toxicity is higher, so these drugs are used as a supplement wherever first line drugs are showing resistance or due to some side effects they cannot be used, so these second line drugs are used in place of that particular drug. So coming to the second line drugs, we have ethionamide. It is similar to isoniazid. Mechanism of action is similar to isoniazid. It also interferes with the mycolic acid synthesis. Prothionamide, it is similar to ethionamide. Cycloserine, it is analog of D-alanine. It is tuberculostatic. Tariridone, it contains two molecules of cycloserine and has similar mechanism of action. Paraaminosalicylic acid, it is sulfonamide, so acts by inhibiting folate synthase. It is not widely used nowadays. Rifabutin, it is related to rifampin and has similar mechanism of action. Now coming to fluoroquinolones, mechanism of action, these drugs inhibit the bacterial enzyme DNA gyrase A subunit and stops DNA strand cutting and resealing. They also inhibits topoisomerase 4 enzyme and stops DNA replication. The drugs under this category are ofloxacin, levofloxacin, moxifloxacin and ciprofloxacin. Now coming to injectable drugs, we have the kanamycin and amikacin. These are the aminoglycosides and their properties are similar to streptomycin. Capreomycin, it is structurally different from aminoglycosides, but mechanism of action and side effects are similar. Now coming to the tuberculosis treatment schedule, first line drugs are basically used. There are two regimes are there. One is for the newly diagnosed patients who are just starting their therapy. For them, there are 6 months course is there. For first 2 months, the patient is administered 300 milligram of isoniazid, 450 milligram or 600 milligram of rifampicin or rifampin, 800 milligram of ethambutol, and 1.5 gram of pyrazinamide. After first 2 months, next 4 months, the patient is given isoniazid 300 milligram, rifampicin 450 milligram or 600 milligram, and ethambutol 800 milligram. Pyrazinamide is withdrawn after first 2 months. If the patient recovers from tuberculosis and due to one or other reasons the relapse is there, then 8 months therapy should be given to the patient. For the first in that out of that 3 months, for the first 2 months, along with isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol and pyrazinamide, 1 gram of streptomycin should be administered, and in the third month isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol and pyrazinamide should be given. Streptomycin should be given only for the first 2 months in that relapse case. After the completion of 3 months, next 5 months, the patient should be given isoniazid, rifampicin and ethambutol. Dose remains same. So instead of 6 months, 8 months duration of treatment will be there. So that's all from my side regarding the anti-tubercular drugs pharmacology. I am very thankful to you for listening patiently my presentation on this anti-tubercular drugs pharmacology topic. In case any query is there or any further suggestion is there, my mobile number and email ID is given on this, so you can contact me. Thank you very much. So nice.